Welcome to Framing Adventures with Mr. D. So you want to learn to make a wall, huh? Well, that's not too difficult to do, but you will need to know how to properly lay out the placement of the studs and other framing members first. You'll need a tape measure, a pencil, a speed square, suspenders, and of course, always wear your safety glasses on the job site. Studs may be spaced out either 16 inches on center or 24 inches on center, but 16 is the norm. The reason for this spacing is that drywall, sheathing, and other wallboard materials are sold in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. So if studs are correctly spaced at 16 inches on center, that ensures that the edge of a sheet can be fastened to a stud and the other end of the sheet will fall exactly in the middle of another stud 8 feet away. And there will be predictable, evenly spaced studs to fasten to along the way. To lay out a wall, we mark the location of the studs on the top plate and sole plate. It helps to hold these pieces together and mark them at the same time to ensure that the marks for each stud are in the same location. It would be a bummer to mark them independently and make a mistake on just one, resulting in a crooked stud. For this demonstration, I'll be using 2x4s to lay out an 8-foot wall. There will be a stud at the end of the wall, and then I can begin spacing the rest at 16 inches on center. But hold the phone. 16-inch spacing is meant to position the edge of a sheet of drywall in the middle of a stud. But the first sheet of drywall isn't going to be started in the middle of the stud, it's going to be flush with the end of the wall. If my studs are 16 inches apart, then the other end of the sheet will fall just short of the stud with nowhere to fasten it. Luckily for us, there's an easy way to adjust for this. When marking the first stud, subtract half the thickness of a stud, or 3/4 of an inch, making your mark at 15 1/4 inches instead of 16. Use your speed square to transfer the mark across both plates and place an X on the side of the line where the stud will be positioned. Now you can slide the tape over so that the 16-inch line sits on the edge of the stud you just marked. With the tape measure in this position, continue down the wall, marking studs at every 16-inch increment. These increments are noted on most measuring tapes. Be sure to mark another stud at the end of the wall. I mark my plates on their edge so that when the wall is being assembled flat on the ground, the stud doesn't block the mark and it can still be read from above. That's a mighty fine looking set of plates. But what if we wanted to build a wall with a door or a window? Well, we can add those features now, but we'll need to know a couple of things. We need to know the rough opening of the door or window, which is a specification provided by the manufacturer. We also need to know where the center of the window or door will fall on our wall. For example, I'll be making a rough opening for a window that is 2 feet 8 inches wide and positioned 5 feet from the layout end of my wall. First, I measure to find the center of my window, 5 feet from the same end where I began my stud layout. I mark this with a center mark. Now to establish my rough opening, I measure half that distance in both directions from the center mark. Again, my rough opening is 2 feet 8 inches, so I must measure 1 foot 4 inches in both directions. Any studs that fall between these marks are changed to cripple studs, which are the shortened studs that fall above and below a window opening. Their spacing stays the same. Immediately outside of the rough opening, I need to mark trimmer studs, which support the ends of the windowsill and header. The header carries the weight of the wall or roof above the window, around the window itself, and down through the trimmer studs so that the window doesn't bear any load. Finally, I mark the king studs outside of the trimmer studs, which are full-length studs positioned at both ends of any window or door opening. Nice work! This wall is ready to go. Double check all your measurements, and then you're ready to cut the pieces of this wall and nail it together. Good luck, and get to work!